7 pitch. Harper hits one in the air, left center field. Back it goes. Harper, the swing of his life. It is bedlam at the bank. Swung on, crushed, and the Phillies are going to lead it 4-0. Now Harper sends one in the air, way back to right center. That one's gone. This place explodes. It's good. Right center field. Lightning strikes. Right field. Segura's out. Castellanos out. And the Philadelphia Phillies are going to the World Series.
This hasn't been as quiet as we've expected, Ben. You know, a lot of times we'll see the off-season moves do not happen. Spring training begins, but this year, teams are getting out in front before the new year. And there are a lot of guys with a lot of new logos on their chests this upcoming year.
Yes.
We've talked about Trey Turner and Taijuan Walker and Matt Strahm, but today, 2 big bullpen ads will be our topic of conversation. Craig Kimbrel, Gregory Soto, 1 via free agent signing and 1 via trade. What are your thoughts there?
I love him. Craig Kimbrel I feel like he's been rumored to come to the Phillies for the last 3 seasons, but they finally pulled it off. He's a good signing. And then we go to Gregory Soto. My goodness, can the dude throw a baseball? Bullpen's going to be fun. I don't know the last time I've said that the Phillies are going to have a stable bullpen.
The 2 hardest throwing left-handed pitchers in all of baseball are now employed under the Phillies name. Yep. And as in this day and age, velocity is becoming more and more of a factor in pitchers, specifically relievers' success. Having this attribute, I think it should be a huge, huge benefit for the Phillies bullpen. Having 2 strong lefty arms to come out before or behind guys like Seranthony Dominguez and Matt Strahm, maybe Andrew Bellotti, depending on what role he's going to see come 2023. There's a lot to be excited about for this Phillies bullpen. Rob Thompson, the Phillies staff is going to have a lot of options out in right field. And I can see them utilizing all of them in a variety of ways. It's pretty much confirmed at this point that they are going to do a closer by committee, but this season, it's really going to be a committee. It's not going to be we're going to say this so we don't have to set something in stone that people aren't going to like. They're going to have different guys who are going to come in at different times and get the jobs done, which you really didn't see last year until we had an entire healthy Phillies bullpen. And hopefully that can continue with these new additions into 2023.
Yeah, I mean, you say about that committee, they have now so many guys that can go late innings. I'll give you the big boys of the Phillies bullpen if I can find it. Where is it? Seranthony Dominguez, Jose Alvarado, Craig Kimbrel, Gregory Soto, Matt Strahm, Connor Brogdon, Andrew Bellotti. This bullpen is good. It's probably the first time the Phillies have a stable bullpen since 2011, and the Phillies won 102 games that season, most in franchise history. So, I mean, you have 3 guys at the top, or 4 guys. Really, you could go Alvarado, Dominguez, Kimbrel, or Soto late inning, and then you have those early inning guys that could also serve as late inning guys. You have guys that can go all over the place, and it's weird because Phillies usually don't have a bullpen like this.
And not only that, Matt Strahm, he'd only been in the bullpen for 1 season. He came up from the minor leagues as a starter, transitioned to a relief role in the pen, so he could serve as a versatile option if they desperately need a starting pitcher, an opener, a long man out of the bullpen after a rough start from maybe a guy in the back of the rotation. And that could come in especially clutch down the stretch as we're getting late into the season. I know this is a long time ahead, but it's something to consider when you've got, Ranger Suarez, who's had some injury problems late in the season. He struggled with back spasms last year. Zach Wheeler had some of the tendonitis issues, but the guy that I'm really focused on there would be Taijuan Walker, who over the last 2 to 3 seasons has had significantly poorer splits post All-Star break. So that could be something to consider then too. If you need to get Taijuan Walker an extra day here and there, that could really help out the team in the long run.
Yes, something that really lost the Phillies World Series this season was not having that fifth starter because you had that.
Hmm.
I think it was the no-hitter game was when they had the bullpen game and they gave up 4 runs in like the first 4 innings or something ridiculous like that. But you look at it, and Noah Syndergaard started that game. Now the Phillies have a fifth starter, and if that fifth starter doesn't go, they have Matt Strahm, who is better than Noah Syndergaard, who can go a long run. Something also about the Phillies bullpen this season, they lost David Robertson, they lost Noah Syndergaard, they lost Zach Eflin, but they've replaced those guys with, I think, better pitchers. Craig Kimbrel, I think I would assume he's better than Zach Eflin. Eflin was not great down the stretch of some late games. Who else? Gregory Soto is much better than David Robertson, and Matt
Younger,
Strahm.
more control, like
Exactly.
team control and
Matt
pitching control, probably.
Matt Strahm is. I know his Syndergaard was getting up there in age, and Matt Strahm is a nice young kid who can easily replace. The Phillies replaced everyone this season. If you want to go even more further, they replaced Gene Segura with Trey Turner. Gene Segura, by the way, is a Miami Marlin. Before we touch on that, it's a
You
very
know
sore
who else
topic.
is a Miami Marlin, Ben? As of like a few hours ago,
Oh, I didn't see it.
Odubel.
That's funny. Thank God he's out of here.
For real.
But yeah, I mean the Phillies, Dave Dombrowski, my good friend John Middleton. This is one of the best This is one of the best all seasons we've seen in Phillies history. I know we said that about 2019, but like every guy the Phillies lost this season, they got a more improved version of them.
Definitely. And, another thing to consider is really the great job that Dave Dombrowski has done, not just this off season, but in the last, 13 months now. I mentioned it in it was my December feature. Sorry, my December feature is, we like to categorize things into seasons. But in the last 13 months, dating back to, this time last year, the Phillies signed Brad Hand, Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos, Edmundo Sosa, David Robertson, or I should say signed or traded for, Brandon Marsh, Noah Syndergaard, Trey Turner, Taijuan Walker, Matt Strahm, and Craig Kimbrel. And now
That's a lot.
Gregory Soto could be added to that list. Well, I guess that wasn't before
Yeah.
the new year,
But
but again,
something
13
I
months.
also want to touch on is part of that Gregory Soto deal. Of course, we got Cody Clemens, Roger Clemens' son, which is super exciting. But we did lose Nick Maton, Matt Vierling, and Donnie Sands. How will Maton and Vierling's loss affect the Phillies, Mr. Khan?
No, not too much.
Yeah.
They're going to have, in the beginning of the season will definitely be more significant because it was a possibility. I was actually talking to someone about this just less than a week before that trade, and we were, just trying to put together some of the pieces of the 2023 Phillies, and we were considering, just using Vierling and Maton with the nine, your ninth hitter, your DH, rotating guys through the lineup, getting
Put him
guys
in right field.
off their feet, right? Having, Nick Castellanos play DH and putting Matt Vierling out in right field, then reversing the next day, getting both guys some time out there. And almost realistically, it would be like you had 10 starters, right? Not including your pitcher. If you include your pitcher, 11 starters, because you can include one other guy who would be playing almost every day, just in a different capacity. Because, you got Matt Vierling playing third base one day, then first base the next day because Hoskins is the DH, and then Bohm's the DH. And then you've got Castellanos DHing, Schwarber DHing. Maybe you even put Vierling or Maton at the DH for one day.
Yep.
Get Trey Turner off his feet, have him be the DH, and you can stick Maton there. So now I do like Cody Clemens. There were teams that were very, very high on him going into the draft. When he was drafted, he was a third-round selection. Yankees' Brian Cashman was looking at him. He ends up going to the Tigers, and he did not get off to a great start in his very, very young major league career. But we have seen some significant power out of his bat. So if you can get that average up a little bit, start hitting for a little bit more contact and consistently driving the ball, there's no reason why Clemens cannot be your first option off the bench And realistically, he could be starting for various teams that are, looking to develop prospects, whereas the Phillies are probably more on the
Win now.
stretch of winning and playing your stars and developing later.
Yeah, Cody Clemens is only 26.
Mm-hmm.
So he still has so much room.
Right, with, like I said, good power in the majors, and he had excellent numbers throughout AAA.
Something I want to touch on with Soto. When I think of this signing, I look back on the Jose Alvarado signing. Two very similar players. I do think Gregory Soto is better than Jose Alvarado, but last year Soto had 30 saves. He had a 3.34 ERA last season, or over the past 2 seasons, excuse me. Soto's only 27. He's a strong lefty. He hasn't been crazy dominant. His second half of the seasons have been a little low for him, but his fastball is averaging at 98.8 last season miles per hour. He's good. He can throw the ball really fast. He's a back-to-back All-Star, and really, he can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, Soto, and we've only seen him get better throughout his major league career. There have been some control issues. He's varied the pitches that he's relied on over the past 3 years. But I really do think that Gregory Soto can only go up from here. He's been tweaking some things over the last few years. And I would say either this year or next year is when you're going to see him hit his peak. And hopefully that he's not the only one hitting his peak during that time, because he could be a huge asset for Philadelphia.
I just got a Bryce Harper update. He's in Disneyland with his family.
Yeah, he was somewhere 2-3 weeks ago. Where was it? I saw.
I love my Bryce Harper updates. Rob Thompson was at a mall, right? Like, 5 minutes from my house. Yeah. If it wasn't $70, I would have had some Rob Thompson content for you guys, but I'm not trying to spend $70 to meet Rob Thompson. I'm sorry.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. It's ridiculous.
All right, so Ben, realistic expectations for the team, and then I've got a couple players listed who I want you to touch on. But let's just start off with Philly right now as a squad. What's your realistic expectation?
My realistic expectation, I never will say I expect my team to win the championship. I expect my team to make it to the World Series. I expect the Phillies to get 90-some wins. I think it's going to be one of those Philly seasons where it's supposed to be really good, but they fall short on the win total. I think they'll probably get like 92, 91 wins or something. Looking at second or third place in the NL East, I don't think they're the best team in the NL East, but I do think they'll make it the farthest in the National League East. Realistically, I have to put my finger on it. I'm looking at NLCS, somewhere in that ballpark. But realistically, I think the Phillies are going to be a better team than they were last year. But the magic touch with that pixie dust I don't think it's going to be how special as it was this last season.
Yeah, I will touch on the pixie dust in a minute or two. But I agree with you, and to be honest, I think you're right. But a part of me wants to say, which I know is true, it has to end eventually. And what I mean by it is the constant, hyping up the Phillies. They should win the East. This is the team. This is the team. This is the team. And then they find themselves, 8 games under 500 to begin June? Yeah. That has to end eventually. And I really, really do think that this is the team that's capable of doing that. So I'm going to slot the Phillies in for over 95 wins. I think they'll be second place in the East.
Mets for him?
Yeah, the Mets are going to be first. Not by much. I don't know. The NL East is hard to predict right now. I mean, if I had to predict the good teams and the bad teams, I could do that. But the Mets could come out here and be one of the best teams in MLB history, or they could literally be a 500 team. because they're taking so many bets right now, right? They're betting on Justin Verlander to not, play to his age.
Mm-hmm.
They're expecting Max Scherzer to bounce back from I wouldn't say rough, I'd say weird. It's actually a very good word for it. A weird 2022 season.
He is a weird guy.
Weird guy, and you had a very weird season. Some ups and downs in there. Again, weird. Nothing about it was typical. It was atypical to say the least. And then the Braves are kind of on the opposite end of the of the Mets, where they're betting on their young guys, right? They spent this money and they kept Austin Riley and Michael Harris and Vaughn Grissom. What if not Vaughn? I don't think they signed Vaughn Grissom, but Sean Murphy. There's one they traded for. These guys have been good in their short major league careers, but none of them have proven to an extent that they are these superstars that their stat lines have shown so far. And who knows? Maybe one of these guys is going to turn out to be an Alec Bohm, and we'll have I wouldn't even say disappointing year. It is a disappointing year, not a bad year, disappointing year, right? Not going to hit 330 like he was expected to. Austin Riley, maybe Michael Harris are not going to play to the same caliber they did in 2022. And I think the Braves are relying on all of their rookies, were showing their true colors in 2022.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
So, it's going to be weird to see how this NL East chase is going to turn out, because there are a lot of ways it could go down. And I can see the Phillies being, at the bottom of this or at the top of this. There's really two ways they can go. But I would say realistically second place is the highest probability of where they're going to end up. Just because I think, one of these teams are going to have a plan that succeeds and the other one's going to have a plan that fails. Whether it's the young or the old, we don't know that yet.
I'm not a huge fan of the Braves going into this season. I do think that's your third place team. The Braves are still going to be great, as usual, but I don't think they're going to be as dominant as they've been. Losing Dansby Swanson's big because he was kind of your leader in that clubhouse. Now the Braves really don't have a true leader, because if anyone, it's Matt Olson, and he's only been in the organization for a year.
Well, you got Acuna there. So
true, but Acuna's had those problems in that clubhouse in the past, so I wouldn't put him
true,
like
it's
a leader in the clubhouse is like the Kyle Schwarber.
That's true, but there's some new guys in there too. I think that Acuna's coming off a down year, so he might be, pushed not back into reality, but he might be humbled a little bit.
Yeah,
but again,
you go.
A lot of question marks for the Braves. That's the biggest thing, and you just mentioned it there. It's not just the performance, the record. There's question marks with everything about their team right now, as is with the Mets, where the Phillies, there's a little bit more of a clear line of where the expectation lies.
Something else to go with the Mets. Carlos Correa is not a New York Met, everybody. Everyone snap.
Yes, that's very, very good news.
Snap, Colin.
I was actually very surprised to see him go back to Minnesota.
It's the only team that my thing with Minnesota, they were the only team that really knew what his physical truly looked like. After signing him last season, they were obviously comfortable with his health. 6 years, $200 million is a lot of money, but you know what? It's okay.
I've got a question.
It's the Twins. I got an answer, maybe.
I don't think you will, but I'll try anyway. Why were people surprised when the Mets, it didn't work out with the Mets? I mean,
I think they thought Uncle Steve was gonna work his wizardry and try and make some sort of deal, but with how when you sign someone to a 12-year deal, there's no way you're cutting that deal down past 10 years. And obviously, Carlos Correa could do double-digit amount of years. I think 6 years is perfect where he should be.
So, yes, I agree with that. But my real question is, like, these reports came out that the Mets were having, they didn't like what was on his physical. But did they think, like, I don't know why that was a red flag or why him being available was a green flag, because it's not like physicals change between San Francisco and New York. I mean,
Mhm.
Dr. San Francisco and Dr. New York are going to see the same problems when they
Yeah.
give him his little tests and whatnot.
I think it was more of a thing that Steve Cohen doesn't care about where his money's going or really about anything. He just wants to win and get that money
Right,
back.
because it's that stereotype the Mets can
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah. And obviously he couldn't. He underestimated how bad this was. But good for the Twins, They revealed some nice uniforms this offseason.
This is
Somewhat
true.
nice. I really only like the
They're
home
the
one.
same.
That's just Twins. That one's clean. And then they signed Carlos Correa back for a big deal. So good for them. They're still good. They're
MLB
still going to be
really,
mediocre, but
MLB really set the bar too high with those uniforms. Like, they were
yeah.
acting like it was going to be a whole new logo, a whole new color
Oh,
scheme.
they said
Like,
new logo. It's the same thing, just a different font. Like it's something.
like
It's
it
like
was
me
like
editing a. It's me editing a help slideshow in Google Slides, and my teacher tells me to change the heading slide. Like,
I
come on.
was confused. Like, I thought we were going to get a whole new team. That's like, when the Phillies went from the bell dude to they just changed like
They
the
went.
bell.
They went from a diamond to just a bell.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to be a bell, but I don't think it looks like a bell. Let me see if I've got one of them.
Here's the Here's the new logo. I got a picture of it. Hold on. There we go. Switch it. There you go. Here's the difference.
It looks like more like the Reds now.
Yeah. The T
I do like
is
it
more.
better though.
The T is more curved. They darken the color a little bit.
More modern.
Nothing.
But I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't a change that needed to be done right now. I mean, it
Oh
goes
no.
from like 2010 to like 2023. That should be a change that's made in like 10, 20 years.
The only jersey that I like of the new Twins is the normal white that just is Twins. The Twin Cities, I don't like the blue with. There's no red. They need red. The pinstripe grays are mid, and then the navy ones or whatever.
Yeah, that is what it is, I guess. All right,
Oh,
so we're
did you
going
hear
to
the
individual.
Flyers are getting new uniforms?
They are.
Yeah. Next season,
It's
they're getting
news
new
to me.
uniforms, apparently. I'm so excited.
I don't really do the Flyers, unfortunately. I just know
It's
that they got destroyed by the best team in the NHL like a day
oh
ago.
my God, the Bruins are incredible. But this is a baseball pod, not a hockey.
Anyway, I want to go into some individual players.
There you go.
And I'm going to start off with one of the guys who you talk about a lot. Anthony Dominguez. False
My boy.
or fiction?
False or fiction?
Yes. Was his. Or I shouldn't say false or fiction. I should say true self or lucky self. 2022.
So Anthony Dominguez is going to be good.
So that's that's Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Yes.
He didn't have like a lucky great season. It
No,
wasn't a
that's
one-time thing.
So Anthony Dominguez did the same he did before Tommy John surgery, and he was even better than he was with Tommy John
I
surgery,
agree.
which is why Anthony Dominguez is good, and he's going to be good for a long time.
I
Go Sir
agree.
Anthony. Yeah, so he
All
also
right.
has a very good name.
Here's a guy that I talk about a lot, Nick Castellanos. Does he bounce back?
I'm seeing lots of bouncing back. He's gonna be. He's gonna have to. He better be better. But he's gonna be better than he was this season. But he's not gonna be Reds Nick Castellanos. How many home runs did he have this year? 8,
No, he had like 15 or 16.
15, and 16. He'll get 20. He'll have a higher average. I don't feel like pulling up his stats right now because
His average was there. It was really
February.
everything else. I mean,
Yeah,
he
whatever.
hit 240 something or other.
It's not worth
It
looking at.
was
But I
really
mean,
just his issue there was he had no power,
yeah.
and the situational hitting was nothing. The majority. His two. Hold on. Let's see, I think it's 248.
I think his thing with the Reds was there was literally no one else on that team that was good, so he just stood out incredibly. So
Yeah, that's a fair point, but let's see, what was it? Oh wow,
like he was
263.
oh
Felt worse. But
yeah.
again, 694 OPS.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That'll
It's
be
well below league average.
okay.
So,
Nick Castellanos, he's not going to be Reds Castellanos, but he's going to be much better. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to be
I don't
crazy
think
bounce
so.
here. You think he's staying the same? Oh no.
I think he stinks.
Oh no.
I think he's got a poor attitude.
Oh, here we
He's overrated.
go.
He can only hit a Great American.
Here we go. Here's more Marlins.
And he's a Floridian.
John Heyman just tweeted the Marlins are among a few teams considering Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Chapman on the Marlins is weird.
Doesn't seem like someone who'd look good with a fish on his chest.
True. Next question. The next person, whatever.
Aaron Nola. This is an interesting one.
Aaron Nola. I've really been an Aaron Nola fan since he was in the minors. I remember seeing him in Trenton. Aaron Nola's going to be good. Aaron Nola's great. Is he going to be better than Zach Wheeler? I don't think so. But Aaron Nola's still going to have another great Aaron Nola year. You're definitely going to be a Debbie Downer here and put Aaron Nola's bad for next season. Don't tell.
Cy Young.
What? Let's go. Optimistic Colin. It's a new season. Colin's optimistic.
I wouldn't go that far.
Uh-oh.
All right. Next guy's Jose Alvarado.
He's not going to be as good as he was in second half in 2022. But he's going to be overshadowed by Gregory Soto. But Jose Alvarado is still going to be a valuable pitcher you can go to when you need him. Will he be as good as he was? No. Will he still be good enough? Yes.
Yeah, I think he's a good seventh inning guy. ERA in the low threes. He's not going to be like 0 point whatever that we saw after he was recalled from AAA. But come on, that's nowhere near realistic. Yeah, I think Alvarado. I do think that his command struggles have been cured. Adding that cutter as a swing and miss pitch has been phenomenal for him. I really think Alvarado is going to stay where he is to a realistic standpoint from what we saw in 2022.
Okay. So we're kind of on the same page now.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually been on the same page for most of these, which I'm surprised by because usually I'm a little bit more pessimistic than I'm being right now. Maybe I just woke up on the right side of the bed today.
There you go.
But yeah. All right, another one here, Connor Brogdon.
Connor Brogdon, I've never been a huge Brogdon guy. He's always just looked at me as the long dude. But Connor Brogdon's going to be incredibly mid. I'll go with that. You love Connor
Brogdon. It's funny because I'm a huge Brogdon. I'm a huge Brogdon fan for literally no reason. No, I think I like the guys who come up from the minor leagues and impress. That's why I like Sir Anthony. That's why I like Sir Anthony. And Connor Brogdon wasn't really supposed to do much. I mean, Sir Anthony he wasn't even supposed to like really pitch when he came up. He was just filling a spot. And he kept doing well and he never got sent back down. For Brogdon, it's I really want to see him succeed. I'm just not seeing it though.
Incredibly mid?
Worse. I don't think he's gonna make it.
Oh no.
I don't think he's gonna make it past the deadline. He's got really good stuff, but his pitches are so inconsistent. I don't think he's got major league material right now.
Oh no.
All right, I've got one more guy in the pen for you. And then I've got one more position player. Now, again, we could do this with every single player on the Phillies, but we're not going to. So I've got two guys, and I've got the final one, who I think is the biggest name that people want to know about other than Castellanos. So the position player that I'm going to give you, I think this might surprise you a little bit. How about Garrett Stubbs?
Stubby. He's that's weird. Twitter changed their analytic thing, so it's not right next. Wait, where it was? It's on the far right. Anyway, Garrett Stubbs last year was just Garrett. It was just came out of nowhere. I don't think he's going to be as incredible as he was last season. I still think he's going to be probably the best backup catcher in baseball. Which I feel they could trade him for some prospects, but they don't need to trade him for prospects. Give me Garrett Stubbs having a good year. A good year
I think so
for
too.
where he should be.
I think so too. Now, again, I'd love to do more guys in this list because we got Brandon Marsh down here. He's definitely a question mark. I think he'll pan out. Cody Clemens, he kind of touched on. Alec Boehm, care to brief thoughts on that? Wasn't on my initial list.
I've always been a Boehm fan. I remember watching him in Trenton. I met him when he was in Trenton. I live 5 minutes from Trenton, so when the Yankees had Trenton as their Double-A affiliate, I would always go to the Reading Fighting Phils games and see the young Phils. But I've met Alec Boehm, chill. And he's a third baseman. I always have a good soft spot in my heart for third baseman since that is my position. So I'm gonna drop my AirPod. Give me Alec Bowman having another good. He's not going to be great, but he's going to be good. He's going to be much better defensively in the beginning of the season than he was last season, and he's going to hit well. So give me Alec Boehm having another good season.
No, I'm playing the fifth on this one.
Oh, no.
I'm torn. I don't know. I want to take a side, but I can't. It's an emotional battle right now.
You just want Manny Machado.
No, God. No, thank you.
I hate Manny Machado.
I think it's pretty much common knowledge here that we all think Bryson Stott's gonna be a star.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even need to touch on that. I mean, he made some significant mechanical changes.
Oh my God!
And I think that's gonna pay off. And then the last guy who I think we all want to know about, other than Nick Castellanos, is the man who got paid $10 million because of his name, and that is Craig Kimbrel.
Craig Kimbrel, it seems every other year has an absolutely horrible season. He has a Hall of Fame type season. Last year, he did not have a good season. So you know what? I'm keeping with the trend. Give me Craig Kimbrel having a great season. Why not?
He's cooked. No.
Let's do it. Come on. Optimism. Oh,
he's worse than
dude.
He actually, I mean, he's not going to be. He actually might be worse than Familia.
Okay, relax. Opening day, when he pitches, I need everyone in the Diamond Club remaking the thing from 2013. Need it to happen. I got my opening day tickets, by the way.
Yeah, you know they're all gonna have neck spasms when they're in that position. They jerk their head up to see the ball flying out of the yard. That's gonna be the problem then.
We play the Mets on opening day. We're fine.
Oh well, no, we play the Rangers on opening day, and then we see.
All right, a home opener. I don't care about opening day.
All right, that's fine.
Home opener is all that matters to me.
In that case, we are 27 days away until pitchers and catchers report to Clearwater, and I will be there in 39, 38, somewhere in there, covering the Phillies in Clearwater for Philly Sports Reports. Make sure that you're tuned in there, as we will have daily coverage on YouTube, TikTok, the website, Twitter, etc. And if you're in Clearwater, make sure to help us out elsewise. And Ben, how can they do that?
Are we going to a SeatGeek ad?
We're going to a SeatGeek ad.
SeatGeek ad! I don't know if spring training tickets are even on SeatGeek, but if
They're
they
on
are,
SeatGeek.
All right, go to SeatGeek. Use code Philly Sports Report at your what happened?
I'm going to see if they're on there.
Okay. Go to SeatGeek, buy NFL playoff tickets. They're expensive. You can save $20 off your first purchase with code Philly Sports Report at SeatGeek. It's been on the screen the entire episode, so I hope you saw it. Anyway, we have less than a minute left on the Zoom, so I'm going to end this. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked the new logo for Bell Ringers. Uh-oh. Thank you, Ben Chinhalt. That's it from us. Go Phils. See ya. Like and subscribe.